the reporters in town who covered Andy Meloni for many, many years is our colleague, 13 Wham's Patrice Walsh, who is joining us now by telephone from home. Patrice, I know you spent yesterday kind of focused on memories of Andy Meloni. We all think about the humor. We think about the times when he was tested as a sheriff. What's your strongest and perhaps fondest memory of Andy Meloni?
So many of them, and first of all, I wanted to say how sorry I am to his family, and of course we've all been thinking about him, and how often can you say that you feel so close and honored to know somebody in public office because you felt like you knew him so well. And of course for me it had to be Kaylee Polton. I was out there the night she disappeared, and I remember the sheriff was there immediately and holding up her picture, you know, on live TV as we took this, because so many people obviously wanted to find her. And you could tell it was so personal for him. As one of his friends told me yesterday, he was devastated. It was like it was his own daughter. And of course he wanted her found alive. And when they knew that wasn't going to happen, he wanted to recover her body so that her family would have that and not have to live, you know, not knowing. And I just remember him out there that night, and he wasn't sheriff. He was somebody that wanted to find a little girl, you know, and just, it was just so emotional in so many different ways. And then, of course, we were out there when she was found in that shot of the sheriff and all the investigators after they had found Kaylee coming. I know that shot, it still gives me the chills every time I see it. And, you know, watching all of the stories yesterday, and it just brought back all of the, you know, so many good memories, and just such a good person that you could walk in his office back then when I started in 1980 and say, Sheriff, you know, I need an interview about this. And, you know, there were no people holding him back because he was going to do it, you know.
You know, I'm glad you said that, Patrice, because, you know what, you said that yesterday, that he was the kind of person you could approach in that manner. As a reporter covering people in our community, people in law enforcement, people in politics, you know, he was he broke the mold. I mean, there was no one like him, right?
Exactly. And you know what Don had brought up in the story that he just told was he wasn't a politician, and so many of his friends said that to me yesterday. He was a politician because he needed to get elected, but he loved people. And not that politicians don't, but he went so beyond that. It wasn't just, you know, a job. He loved people. He loved making people laugh, and, you know, he loved making you feel good, you know. And even, you know, the story yesterday that one of his friends telling me that he visited the inmates in the jail and asked them, you know, how you doing? You know, I mean, how often does that happen? And he had one inmate actually wanted to change the menu of the food, and he said, you know, we'll work on that or something. You know, it's just approachable, of course, and always a hug, you know, how are you, and, you know, a kiss on the cheek, and it was genuine. You know, this wasn't somebody that was doing that to get elected.
No, I agree with you. Patrice, thanks so much for sharing, and I know you'll be thinking about him and his family today, and as so many of us will too.